If you would like for them to do the bell assignment, please pause now and have them work on it at their seats. When you're finished, you may go to the whiteboard, put your answer up there, and then go over the answers together. After that, I guess you need to pause this, and then after that, we'll continue with the lesson. What we're talking about today is Lesson 53, Ratio Word Problems. In this lesson, we will use proportions to solve ratio word problems. Consider the following ratio word problem. The ratio of parrots to macaws at a bird sanctuary was 3 to 5. If there were 45 parrots, how many macaws were there? In this problem, there are two kinds of numbers, ratio numbers and actual count numbers. The ratio numbers are 3 and 5. The number 45 is an actual count of parrots. We will arrange these numbers in two columns and two rows from a ratio box. To form a ratio box, excuse me. Practicing the use of ratio boxes now will pay dividends in later lessons when we extend their application to more complex problems. Now, it says practicing the use of ratio boxes now will pay dividends in later lessons. What I'm going to tell you is, if it is a ratio problem and you do not use a ratio box, in my eyes, it is wrong. You have to have the box so that you can set up the problem correctly. Because if you don't fill out the box, then you can make mistakes and put your numbers in the wrong places, and you really, really, really do not want to do that. So for this example, they set up the ratio box, and the ratio box always looks like this. It can be a nice simple T-chart. You don't have to make the whole square. And you put ratio here, actual here, and then you fill in. We're talking about parrots and macaws. In the story problem, it says the ratio of parrots to macaws was 3 to 5. So the one that said first here goes with the one that said first here. So we put 3 in the ratio column next to parrots. So that means that 5 has to go with macaws. Then the next sentence says, if there are 45 parrots, 45 is the actual number of parrots. So we put 45 under the actual column with parrots. So we don't know how many macaws there are. This has set us up a proportion. Okay? Remember, whenever we have proportions, in this case, we have 3 over 5 is equal to 45 over m. To solve a proportion, we do the cross product. The cross product is this, which is 3 times m, so I put 3 times m, must be equal to this, which is 5 times 45. Now I'm going to do the math indicated. So I have 3 times m is 3m equals 5 times 45. 5 times 45 is 225. Now I see that I have 3m equals 225. To get m by itself, I must divide by 3 on both sides because it's being multiplied right now. 3 times m, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide 3 on both sides to get it to cancel, and what I do to one side, I must always do to the other. So then on the left side, all I have left is m, and that's equal to 75, which I will label macaws. Final answer. Okay? Yada yada yada. This is everything that I just said to you. So, for example, in the auditorium, the ratio of boys to girls was 5 to 4. If there were 200 girls in the auditorium, how many boys were there? We're going to start, before we do anything, by setting up the ratio table. So I have ratio and actual. This is my T-chart portion. Okay. Then I'm talking about boys and girls. So it says the ratio of boys to girls was 5 to 4. Boys is said first, so the number said first has to go with boys. And it says ratio. So the ratio for boys is 5. The ratio number for girls then has to be 4. The next sentence says, if there were 200 girls in the auditorium, how many boys were there? So 200 is the actual number of girls. So I put 200 under the actual with girls. Now I'm looking for how many boys there were. Once again, I have set up a proportion. So I have 5 over 4 equals B over 200. To solve the proportion, once again, we always do the cross product. So that means we have 4 times B has to be equal to 5 times 20, or 200. So 4 times B equals, whoops, not 4 times B. 4 times B is 4B, excuse me, which has to be equal to 5 times 200, which is 1,000. So to get B by itself, 4 is being multiplied by B. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. I'm left with B equals 1,000 divided by 4 is 250 boys. Final answer. And sadly enough, this is a super short lesson today, so your homework is from lesson 53, A through D, 1 through 5, and 10 through 30 even. That being said, you're going to have a lot of time left, so make sure that you use it wisely. You should not be talking, you need to be working. If you have a question, you either ask Mrs. Olmsted or Mr. Woods.